And another day and another adventure. And this time we are looking for Ben's waterfall.
And so starts another episode of our adventure. Thank you to our Patreons. It's your support that make these videos possible. Go to patreon.com/Fearless on Four Wheels and subscribe now. Also remember to hit that like button, subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified of all our future adventures.
We met a great guy, Ben, in Wolfers, and he told us about these little secret spots. And today we're going looking for one of them. Got a bit lost yesterday in window bashing, which was interesting, and slept next to the road about 30-40 km north of here, and now we've following a little track, and we got to this great hidden little valley. Can you hear that? That's the sound of millions of birds who've found a little bit of water in a stark desert landscape. We've discovered our waterfall that Ben has told us about. Thank you, Ben, for that good tip.
At this time of year, the waterfall is dry, as it only rains in January, February and March. But the lovebirds and baboons still gather all year round, as it's the only source of water for many miles around. We had raptors circling around the cliff face all day long, and millions of lovebirds nesting in the cliffs that has been hollowed out by the water erosion. The constant chatter of the lovebirds were our companions with the sun setting and the moon rising, and we spent quite a few days in this little piece of paradise. Every day the baboons paid us a visit to take turns in drinking from the holes in the rock. It was quite funny to see them with bums in the air and heads in the ground, drinking from the holes in the water. But all too soon it was time for us to hit the road, out of this little piece of paradise in the desert. Climbing out of the valley, we said goodbye to the birds and baboons as we headed to Kamanyang, a small town, to stock up before we continued our adventure.
So after an interesting few days in the bush, we're back in civilization. Not mad about that, but one of the benefits is a freezing pool for us to chill in. Okay, hy is waterproof nou nie, né? Hy het sy klappie in en hy record. Okay, that's enough civilization. Let's go.
It was getting hotter and hotter each day as summer approaches. So the freezing pool at Opikopi Lodge was welcome as we caught up on work and planned the next few days of our adventure. We were heading to Etosha National Park, one of the greatest parks in the world, and a very special campsite with a wheelchair accessible.
Welcome to Elephant's Rest Camp, Etosha National Park. One of the unique rest camps in Etosha where you have a 270 view from a height, and at the bottom floor down the steps there is a 270 view with glass, quite close to a very nice watering hole, artificial watering hole created for the animals to come and drink. So yeah, we're spending 2 days here and let's see what we can find. Tomorrow morning we'll be getting up very early to come and sit here in the cold and see if we can see some animal behavior. It's an opportunity I like to take to see the animal behavior through different times of day and night. Because normally you have to be in a camp at sunset.
The mornings were bitterly cold and the days were very hot, but we got up very early to get to the watering hole before sunrise. We were disappointed with the amount of animals visiting the watering hole. We only saw one rhino and one elephant in 2 days, and I spent a lot of time at the watering hole. This could be linked to the fact that Olifant's Rest campsite used to be an elephant culling site. This was many years ago when culling was still seen as a good wildlife management strategy. It's strange to see now that elephant meat was even sold in tins. How times have changed. But you know they say elephants never forget, and that's probably why Olifant's Rest gets so few game.
It's very difficult driving in Etosha National Park because there are zebra crossings everywhere. It's a quick pit stop for lunch, making wraps as we did our game viewing. We've been seeing a lot of lazy lions chilling under a tree, looking like a rock. Have you been enjoying the game viewing, honey?
Yes.
Anything spectacular to mention?
Lazy lions. Yeah. We're still waiting for the pangolins and the leopard.
We also made time to appreciate the smaller wildlife. Corinne always says small lives matter as well. At the picnic area there were lots of striped mouse and sociable weaver birds playing in the dry bush. The lack of water was clearly evident. Some unknown Samaritan made a drinking bowl from a discarded water bottle. We watched in awe as this ground squirrel drank and drank some more, till all the water was gone. We refilled the water bowl before we continued our game viewing, taking our time to appreciate the smorgasbord of game that Etosha had to offer. It was amazing the amount of elephants and especially giraffe that we saw all through the park, much more than the previous time that we visited Etosha in 2018. Scavengers are a rare sight in Etosha as the park is very big, so it was very special to spot this hyena at a watering hole.
Good morning and welcome to the land of the lazy game viewer. Last morning in Etosha National Park. Biggest problem is to get out of bed. Corinne is still in bed. It's about 6:30, 7 o'clock. And the watering hole is about 150 meters walk that way. Just made myself coffee. Let's go and see if there's anything interesting at the watering hole.
The watering hole at Ukukuyu in Etosha is really the lazy game viewer's place to be. You can sit and have a cup of coffee or a drink and just watch the action at the watering hole. There's lights on all night, so you can pop in any time to watch the giraffe, rhinos, elephant and all the game come and drink water, with the elephants kicking up a lot of dust. But then it was time to head further north towards the Kunene River, the river that is the boundary between Namibia and Angola. And we had to say goodbye to Etosha with our last sunset and sunrise. So with the white expanse of the Pan to our west, we headed north. But as we were driving north, we started noticing a very strange smell coming from the back of a Fudu, our trusty Toyota Hilux.
And we've just left Etosha, and we're experiencing a slight delay due to a battery. Tonight, next to a lake, Canadian River is a little bit on.
But that's a story for another time, so please remember to like, subscribe and hit that bell icon so you won't miss out on future adventures. Thank you for our Patreons for making these videos possible.